The first step is idealization. It is likewise the most important step, because it is the plan on which you are going to build. It must be solid. It must be permanent. The architect, when he plans a 30-story building, has every line in detail pictured in advance. The engineer, when he spans a chasm, first ascertains the strength requirements of 1,000,000 separate parts. They see the end before a single step is taken. So you are to picture in your mind what you want. You are sowing the seed. But before sowing any seed, you want to know what the harvest is to be. This is idealization. If you are not sure, return to the chair daily until the picture becomes plain. It will gradually unfold. First, the general plan will be dim, but it will take shape. The outline will take form, then the details. And you will gradually develop the power by which you will be enabled to formulate plans which will eventually materialize in the objective world. You will come to know what the future holds for you. Then comes the process of visualization. You must see the picture more and more complete. See the detail. And as the details begin to unfold, the ways and means for bringing it into manifestation will develop. One thing will lead to another. Thought will lead to action. Action will develop methods. Methods will develop friends. And friends will bring about circumstances. And finally, the third step, or materialization, will have been accomplished. We all recognize that the universe must have been thought into shape before it ever could have become a material fact. And if we are willing to follow along the lines of the great architect of the universe, we shall find our thoughts taking form, just as the universe took concrete form. It is the same mind operating through the individual. There is no difference in kind or quality. The only difference is one of degree. The architect visualizes his building. He sees it as he wishes it to be. His thought becomes a plastic mold from which the building will eventually emerge. A high one or a low one. A beautiful one or a plain one. His vision takes form on paper, and eventually the necessary material is utilized and the building stands complete. The inventor visualizes his idea in exactly the same manner. For instance, Nikola Tesla, he with the giant intellect, one of the greatest inventors of all ages, the man who has brought forth the most amazing realities, always visualizes his inventions before attempting to work them out. He does not rush to embody them in form and then spend his time in correcting defects. Having first built up the idea in his imagination, he holds it there as a mental picture, to be reconstructed and improved by his thought. In this way, he writes in the Electrical Experimenter, I am enabled to rapidly develop and perfect a conception without touching anything. When I have gone so far as to embody in the invention every possible improvement I can think of, and see no fault anywhere, I put into concrete, the product of my brain. Invariably, my device works as I conceived it should. In 20 years, there has not been a single exception. If you can conscientiously follow these directions, you will develop faith, the kind of faith that is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You will develop confidence, the kind of confidence that leads to endurance and courage. You will develop the power of concentration, which will enable you to exclude all thoughts except the ones which are associated with your purpose. The law is that thought will manifest in form, and only one who knows how to be the divine thinker of his own thoughts can ever take a master's place and speak with authority. Clearness and accuracy are obtained only by repeatedly having the image in mind. Each repeated action renders the image more clear and accurate than the preceding, and in proportion to the clearness and accuracy of the image will the outward manifestation be. You must build it firmly and securely in your mental world, the world within before it can take form in the world without. And you can build nothing of value, even in the mental world, unless you have the proper material. When you have the material, you can build anything you wish. But make sure of your material. You cannot make broadcloth from
Yale,
shine.
the football field. Roughly,
This
human
material will
speeds,
be brought out by
guns,
millions of
ARs,
silent
feet
mental
per
workers
second,
and
miles per
fashioned into
hour,
the form of the
things you'll
image
commonly need
which
to
you
know to
have
rough
in
it out.
mind.
Give you one
Think
of
of it.
the Kells.
You have over 5 million of these mental
You'll
workers
need two
ready and in
problems. It
active
could have
use.
gone current
Brain
wise,
cells,
but
they
the
are called.
distance of that
Besides
wire's
this, there is another
resistance is going to
reserve
factor
force
into
of at least
the
an equal number, ready to be called into action at the slightest need. Your power to think, then, is almost unlimited. And this means that your power to create the kind of material which is necessary to build for yourself any kind of environment which you desire is practically unlimited. In addition to these millions of mental workers, you have billions of mental workers in the body, every one of which is endowed with sufficient intelligence to understand and act upon any message or suggestion given. These cells are all busy creating and recreating the body, but in addition to this, they are endowed with psychic activity whereby they can attract to themselves the substance necessary for perfect development. They do this by the same law and in the same manner that every form of life attracts to itself the necessary material for growth. The oak, the rose, the lily all require certain material for their most perfect expression.
Give you something
and
to
they
think
secure it
about
by silent
if you
demand,
wanted to do the
the
number
law
game.
of attraction, the most certain
Yep,
way
well,
for you to secure
I
what you require
have
for
not-
your most complete
I'm still
development.
trying to figure out where I put in the
Make the
issue.
mental image. Make it clear.
Don't have a
distinct,
value to trig
perfect.
out if
Hold it
you're not
firmly.
really. How's it
The
working
ways
for
and
you?
means will develop. Supply will follow the demand. You will be led to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. Earnest desire will bring about confident expectation, and this in turn must be reinforced by firm demand. These three cannot fail to bring about
Remember that
attainment,
rectifier
because
or that
the earnest
circuit up
desire
above?
is the feeling, the confident expectation is the thought, and the firm demand is the will. And, as we have
1,
seen,
2, 3,
feeling
4,
gives vitality
2,
to thought,
4, 6,
and the
8,
will holds it
3,
steadily until
6,
the law
9,
of growth
12,
brings it into manifestation.
4,
It is not wonderful
8,
that man has
12,
such tremendous
16,
power within himself,
and that's
such
gonna
transcendental
add 'em all up.
faculties concerning which
100.
he has no conception. Is it not strange that we have always been taught to look for strength and power without? We have been taught to look everywhere but within. And whenever this power manifested in our lives, we were told that it was something supernatural. There are many who have come to an understanding of this wonderful power, and who make serious and conscientious efforts to realize health, power, and other conditions, and seem to fail. They do not seem able to bring the law into operation. The difficulty in nearly every case is that they are dealing with externals. They want money, power, health, and abundance.
You'll need it.
But they fail to realize that these are effects that can come only when the cause is found. Those who will give no attention to the world without will seek only to ascertain the truth, will look only for wisdom, will find that this wisdom will unfold and disclose the source of all power, that it will manifest in thought and purpose which will create the external conditions desired. This truth will find expression in noble purpose and courageous action. Create ideals only. Give no thought to external conditions. Make the world within beautiful
no,
and
not
opulent,
like this, obviously.
and the world without will express
But
and manifest the
Martha's
condition
actually-
which you have made within. You will come into a realization of your power to create ideals, and these ideals will be projected into the world of effect. For instance, a man is in debt. He will be continually thinking about the
Right at
debt,
the tool shed, for all
concentrating
intents
on
and
it.
purposes. Project
And his
Montauk.
thoughts are causes. The result is that he not only fastens the debt closer to him, but actually creates more debt. He is putting the great law of attraction into operation with the usual and inevitable result. Loss leads to greater loss. What then is the correct principle? Concentrate on the things you want, not on the things you do not want. Think of abundance. Idealize the methods and plans for putting the law of abundance into operation. Visualize the condition which the law of abundance creates. This will result in manifestation. If the law operates perfectly to bring about poverty, lack, and every form of limitation for those who are continually entertaining thoughts of lack and fear, it will operate with the same certainty to bring about conditions of abundance and opulence for those who entertain thoughts of courage and power. This is a difficult problem for many. We are too anxious. We manifest anxiety, fear, distress. We want to do something. We want to help. We are like a child who has just planted a seed and every 15 minutes goes out, stirs up the earth to see if it's growing. Of course, under such circumstances, the seed will never germinate. And yet this is exactly what many of us do in the mental world. We must plant the seed and leave it undisturbed. This does not mean that we are to